Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And this is one of the incredible things about the leadership and the government of the UAE. They are so open. They want you to come with your ideas, with your brilliance, whatever it is that you're doing. They have the door open. This is so rare. Like, I don't think we realize how lucky we are to be in this country where the leadership is so open to innovation, so open to ideas, so open to entrepreneurship and creating new things, because we want to create it together. So thank you so much once again, Your Excellency. Amazing. And so now for our next panel, we're going to be learning about how to build future-ready business ecosystems by combining innovation, mentorship, and smart funding strategies. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Nashwa Alruwaini, the CEO of Pyramedia Group. We have Sasha Haider, partner at Global Ventures, Ali Mokhtar, CEO and managing partner at Beltone Venture Capital, Hasan Haider, founder and managing partner of Plus VC, and your moderator, Youssef Salem, CFO at ADNOC Drilling. Put your hands together for our speakers.
Of course there is one, sir. Here you go. Amazing. Thank you so much for having us and giving us the time. So great to have you all here. So Dr. Asha, maybe we start with you. So super interesting background. I heard NBC, I heard Pirates of the Caribbean, I heard Kingdom of Heaven, I heard House of Saddam. A lot of things which you typically don't hear together. So super interesting background. So tell us how it kind of all came together.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone.
Press the button.
Hello. Hello. Dini. Okay, it started a long time ago, and just to start with, my husband was just telling me, what are you doing now? I said, I'm doing 30 under 30. He said, who are you fooling? Okay, that was a long time ago when I started, and I'm happy to be here with the 30 under 30 because it's good vibes, it's innovation, it's vibrant, and really, I feel this energy that we always need in any business we do. Well, I started when I was 16 years of age. So I was studying and working at the same time as the youngest anchor on TV. And then at the age of 18, I became the head of the creative department in NBC, creating programming. At the age of 23, I was the CEO. And then after that, I got pregnant with my first child. So I decided to leave NBC and open up my own business, to be my own boss, control my hours, working hours. It was time, you know, to be a family woman. After that, I got into the cinema. And I said, why not go to knock the doors on Hollywood and say, oh, we have great stars, take them. And it worked. So we did Kingdom of Heaven, Pirates of the Caribbean, Aladdin, House Saddam, Fishing in Yemen. So many, alhamdulillah, over the years. And the best thing about this is that we introduced the concept that we have more than one Umar al-Sharif, and that we have a talent to be acknowledged. And they did. So we worked with Ridley Scott, we worked with and the likes for years. And over the years, the number has grown with the many productions that we've done. Also in the Emmys, I convinced them to have a leg in Abu Dhabi, and we start judging their semi-final round. We've done that for 19 years, and we have now over 400 different jurors from the Arab world, from stars to directors to DOPs, etc. So it's a big number, and that's why there are many Emmy winners from the Arab world now. And then after that, I said, okay, I do not want to have media as my bread and butter. So I started many companies in real estate, wellness, medical, logistics, F&B, jewelry. I designed jewelry. You name it, I've done it. I've got 17 companies under my belt as a CEO. I like the entrepreneurial concept, so I have nourished many ideas that, alhamdulillah, proved to be a successful model in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And the list goes on, alhamdulillah.
Okay, so yeah, you're 16, started 16 plus 19, that's 35. So you're not very far from 30 under 30. What's your husband talking about?
You can multiply this by 2.
Amazing. We have a lot of, by the way, media superstars in the crowd. So we have Rifai, who runs the Mughamra podcast, the top podcast in the region. We have Ali Salama, who's the top singer here. So I'm sure a lot of stuff that people can take on the media front. So Ali, over to you. So obviously, you do, out of Beltone, you do both equity and debt. Yes. Equity is clear. I think everyone here has tried, is trying to raise equity. Talk to us about the debt, right? That's the much less kind of piece. How can everyone here be ready to come to kind of knock on your door and ask for debt? What do they need to show you? How do they do it?
It's similar actually to what we look at from an equity perspective. It's kind of a different, I would say, funding source. But honestly, we do it mostly in local currency because in Egypt, this is, I would say, something that is super tailored to startups in Egypt. And there is a huge gap in it. I think it's 1 or 2 VCs that actually offer venture debt. But we definitely look at everything. We really focus on unit economics before like giving debt to anyone. We need to make sure like from credit perspective, it makes sense. And we try to like help startups to like find different ways of funding it.
So Ali to be with us, Ali was Beltone, which is now a part of the IHC group. So he left like $1 trillion institution to come to be with us today. So Ali, you make it sound so small. Talk to us about the global piece. What are you doing in the UAE?
Yeah, we actually, as you said, we are like owned by Chimera, which is owned by IHC. We like have a very, I would say, a bullish strategy as Beltone to like expand even further beyond Egypt. We're looking at the GCC. We're looking at Africa. So yeah, I think 2025 could be, I would say, interesting and challenging also.
Hasan, you do early stage. You start early now. Obviously, a lot of people here are relatively early, starting. Is it angel investors? Is it family and friends? Is it incubators, accelerators? Is it pre-seed VCs? Is it micro VCs? Where do you start? How do you get your... Everyone you speak to is say, once you have traction, I'm going to write your first $1 million once you have that ARR. What does the pre-first $1 million, where does it come from? How do people get it?
Yeah, this doesn't work. We invest early. So the way that we like to look at it is we kind of are investing early in people that have shown the ability to execute and get things done. We don't need to have huge amounts of traction or numbers, but we need to see that the founders know how to get the customers, like, which is a key sort of thing, and they've been able to launch a product, because sometimes startups can't even launch products, right? But we're usually the first institutional fund that believes in a lot of these founders, and we lead rounds, we set terms. We invest small amounts. We invest about $100,000 on average per deal, but we invest in a lot of companies. So we build a great sort of a network of other founders that you can help, you can work with, you can advise, you can just, you know, commiserate and complain at the same time as well. We've done about 57 investments so far in the last 2 years. But one of the things to be aware of is that we've received and reviewed about 4,000 deals in the last 2 years. So out of those, we've invested in 57. We only invest in about 1 or 2% of what we see. And I think that should be something that going into it, you should be aware that the chances of raising money from a venture capitalist is very, very small. And so that should never be your objective. Your objective starting a startup should always be to build a business. So you need to figure out, how am I going to actually get the product out? How am I going to get customers? You should be really focused on, I'm going to build this business with or without funding, with or without VCs. But if I get VC money, great, I'll be able to accelerate my path and do that. So that's sort of where we operate. We're like, we don't wait till it's too late, and we don't do it too early. We're just right. Goldilocks, I think.
So, Nashwa, back to you. Now, you were a superstar on media, you're an anchor, you're on TV, you're the youngest anchor, youngest CEO of NBC. How do kind of everyone here get to build a personal brand, a company brand, leverage media, leverage TV, leverage social media to kind of take the visibility of their business to the next level?
I agree with what Hasan is saying. Investment in people is the most important thing. You can never do anything alone. First of all, you start with your idea, you believe in it 100%, then you create the team that can help you take it through to the next level. The problem in our part of the world is a bit tricky because of the lending for new ventures is extremely difficult, if not zero in some countries. And we hope that you have more venture capitalists in the region, because the bank would lend you when you have money. What does that tell you? Why are we coming to you for? So making the first million is difficult, but it's not impossible. When I left NBC, I did not think that I would be able to pay my mortgage. I did not have any savings in the bank after 15 years of work in a corporate atmosphere. But I took the risk. You have to take the risk. You have to get out of your comfort zone and believe in what you're capable of doing. And then you make your own persona, be it in your business or a business you're partnering in. Make a persona that everyone relates to. And when you believe in that persona, you're going to push it to the next level. Making network contacts is extremely important. In Arabic, we say, "Gawr al-Sa'id tis'ad." It's true. When you surround yourself with the people who are successful or are aspiring to be successful, you succeed. And I think in my lifetime, when I made the first million, and I was extremely happy, I did not just go and buy some jewelry with it. I invested in the next venture, and the next venture, and the next venture. Not everything succeeds. Everything, sometimes we flop and we go like rock solid down to the ground, and we have to start from scratch. I started from scratch 5 times. 5 times. But you get down and then you bounce back up. You cannot stay down and just, oh, what have I done? The whole world is against me. No, just get over it and get on with the new thing. That's it.
Yeah, hopefully this is the charm 5th and there's no more, there's no more downs. Ali, now one of the nice things about Forbes is it's not all tech and AI and deep tech. It's very laid back, lots of media businesses, lots of lifestyle businesses. It doesn't have to be all like super techy, right? Like, what are the other like VCs? Sure, tech, sure, but building a nice business also nice, right? So how do you kind of raise funds if you're not necessarily a classic VC play, but super profitable, super nice growing traction numbers?
Very interesting, because actually our investment strategy covers both. So we have pure tech companies, and we have, I would say, SMEs, tech-enabled companies. And we actually invested in the likes of Erika, Lychee, which are like traditional businesses, scaling really well, very profitable, and like offering you very, very high growth. And like the key is to, as Hasan said, is you're building a scalable and a sustainable business. So I don't think it has to be only tech. Once you have an opportunity of a very good company that's scaling really well and building something sustainable, definitely you will find investors, for sure.
Hasan, you said you get like 4,000 applications every 2 years. Tell us like the top 3-5 things for filtering. So let's say if I'm today sending you the deck, I want to stand out from the 3,999. What are the 3 to 5 things I do?
So the first thing is understand who it is you're going after, right? The first filter is, does this startup fit our mandate? So we don't invest outside of the MENA region. I really believe in the region, and that's kind of what we focus on. So any startups that are applying from India or whatever, we don't even look at. And then I guess the stage is the most important thing. Like, if you're a bit too early, it's just an idea. We don't really look at things like that. And if you're too late, we also don't really. So, we're looking at things at that stage. So really understand the investor that you're applying to first. So that wipes out about 20% of our applications. Then the thing that really stands out is show us what you've been able to execute. Not the idea, not the solution. Show us what you've actually done. And that's really the thing. And if you've got numbers to show that, it's even better. So try not to apply when it's just an idea. Try to apply once you've actually got something and you've built something and you've got some early signs of customer usage. And I think that'll put you automatically in the top 20, 30% of the applications. To get to the top 1 or 2%, it's a lot of other factors. But I think, yeah, we're looking for founders that are super passionate about what they're building, are completely focused on execution and getting this thing done. Whether we invest or not, they're going to figure out a way to get this thing done. And so that's really what we're looking for. And show us that. It's a very people-focused investment and business. It's not a purely numbers at the stage that we invest in, because there's not a lot of numbers to look at.
Nice. So Nashwa, back to you. Now I'm a founder. I want to be on TV. I want to go to NBC, Alruwaini, to use it to create visibility. What makes me interesting for the anchor, for the producer? How do I get it? And what are the 3-5 things I do? I become a super hot commodity, and now I'm like on all TV channels to get exposure.
Listen, 30 years ago, this was very difficult. And you needed to open many doors and knock on many doors and grovel for all it matters to be visible to people. Now, you don't need to do this. Now you've got your mobile. There you go. You're a station on your own. You're doing your podcast in anywhere. No, you don't need a studio. You don't need 6 cameras. You do not need DOP. You don't need any of this. TikTok is providing you a full studio now, and you can actually be on air in 5 seconds. But you need to understand who your target audience is, who are you trying to connect with, because this is the most important thing, and the age group, the demographics. And then after that, you start familiarizing yourself with their needs, and make a format based on that. So you talk to them. You cannot talk to everyone. You cannot be appealing to everyone. And this is a mistake that so many people fall into. You just need to create a niche that you target, and you have to be very well-versed and convincing with whatever you're targeting. And it's easy now. It's very easy. And actually, when you succeed with that initial push that you give yourself, the channels run after you.
Like they were running after you, obviously. So I feel it's out of experience. By the way, sorry, I don't have the time, so I'll keep going, and I hope someone at some point will give me a time check. But yeah, in the meantime, let's keep going. So Ali, back to you. So obviously, media is one thing, right, to kind of get visibility, get exposure. Second is you want to be hot for VCs, right? We talked about, let's say, the deck and how do you kind of differentiate. But what else do you do? Like how, in terms of, I don't know, conferences, events, execution, client names, bring other investors into the cap table, team building. How do you become what do you really focus on? Obviously, execute day in, day out. That we know, everyone knows, right? Everyone here is an expert in their own domain and they execute day in, day out. But what else? What's this kind of factor that takes to the next level?
But I'm a bit lost. Can you just...
Yeah, like today, if you have a VC that you want to go to, obviously good decks, like Hasan said.
Okay.
But what else? Like what's really differentiates? What differentiates the top 1%?
How
as
do you mean from a startup perspective?
From a founder perspective.
Yeah, definitely. You need to focus on, I would say, specific building blocks. So number one, you need to make sure that you have the right team as a startup, having a team with different skill sets that actually complement each other. Number two is you need to really understand the market that you're trying to penetrate and how big is the problem that you're actually trying to solve. And the third, which is really important, is your value proposition or your competitive advantage versus competition. And finally, I would say you need to understand the business model and the unit economics behind it. As Hasan was saying, you need to build a sustainable business that could actually survive in bad times. So these are I would say, the main pillars that we look at. And additionally, you need to understand all the risks that comes by doing your own startup, whether from an execution perspective, whether from regulations, market dynamics, and so on.
I think I disagree with what you said, which is leave execution aside. Because execution is 90% of what we want, right? And most founders aren't executing.
That I disagree with you. That's why I said set aside, because obviously here we have people who are absolute superstars. Everyone here has executed extremely, extremely well. But the challenge is, how do they really get the funding, how do they get the people, how do they get the resources? And that's ultimately what the ecosystem is here to enable, right? Because each one of the superstars is like an absolute expert and best in class in what they do. But by definition, their full-time job is not fundraising, is not hiring, it's actually running the business. And we're all here to enable them to actually kind of build that.
No, definitely. Sorry, Hasan.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So there's part of that that just a little bit sits a bit uncomfortably, which is you might be a superstar at the idea or the thing that you're doing, but that doesn't necessarily translate into you being a superstar in executing for a business and a venture.
I agree.
So you might be really, really talented in a creative space, but the moment I look at you in terms of can you execute a business, zero. So I think there are people that are great at what they do, creatives or scientists or whatever, or academics even, but they're usually the worst investments that you can make because they don't have an execution capability to build a business. So that's the key. It's not, can I execute in my field of study? Can I execute in where I'm an expert at? It's, can I execute a real business? Can I get customers? Can I grow and scale those customers effectively? Can I do all of these things that is not inherent in most people? It is a really difficult thing, and you really need to find the top percentage of people that have the ability to both get things done and execute on that, but in addition to that, you know, be doing something that is not necessarily the strength of most people that are specialists in all these different areas. So, yeah, you might be great at executing and whatever, but like not in a business maybe.
So take us back to TikTok. That's probably the most interesting thing happening at the moment. Give us a crash course on what are you seeing, what's the latest, what's going viral, how do you go viral?
I'm not a TikTok expert, unfortunately, but I'm a Twitter expert. And maybe Twitter suits my age better. So I used Twitter many times in my campaigns, and we were actually selected as a company as a case study for successful campaigns worldwide. I remember we did Al Janadriya in Saudi Arabia a few years back, and it was at the time when the top 10 PR companies were hesitant to enter Saudi and push for something like this. So I basically used Twitter as a vehicle, and I used all the editors-in-chief of the cultural columns in the whole world to be advocates to Al Janadriya, and we reached 8.9 billion at the time through this tactic, and it worked. We were not talking politics, we were talking culture, we were talking case studies of human stories, and it worked. The world was eager to deal with us with that. But with regards to TikTok, most of my team members are pushing for TikTok because really, if you want exposure now, it's one of the fastest tools to be used, and they are introducing amazing things that can enable media wannabes to use the platform they have to make programming, to make podcasts, to make just live interaction, and it's very easy, and the picture is impeccable, it's beautiful. Usually when you wanted to do this back in the days, you need hundreds of thousands to spend on equipment. Now you don't need anything, you just need a ring light and get on with it. So yeah, I believe that any media person who wants to get exposure fast is to use those platforms that are out there that we never had back in the days, because they are supporting of you, and you can easily get to the target you want in a very short time.
Amazing, you know it all. I still have no time check, so I'll keep going, and if you get too bored, then you do the time check directly. So Ali, put aside your hat as an investor. Beltone itself, Egyptian company, super successful. You have someone like IHC coming in from the UAE and basically becoming a big holder. Let's talk a little bit about, I know it's not an exit, it's a capital increase, but let's take it a little bit more to the strategic angle, to the exit angle. I'm in Egypt today, currency, no one knows what's happening, or maybe actually know what's happening, that's the problem. What do I do? How do I get a strategic player from a deeply pocketed country like the UAE to come in, partner with me, capital increase, exit, whatever it is? What makes me attractive?
Definitely, you need to like offer growth that could hedge any macro conditions. And also you need to have, strategically, you need to think how to expand even beyond Egypt. Definitely, by the way, we're like still very bullish on Egypt, and still it's a country that offers 2 and 3 times growth, even with all like the macro conditions. I think it's one of the biggest countries, and still you can achieve a lot in Egypt on a standalone basis. However, also you need to like really think of how to expand beyond and how to maximize your returns. So this is actually what we're doing. We're like expanding in Egypt and beyond. And alhamdulillah, we did an amazing 2024. And I think, as I was telling you, like 2025 is very interesting. We're like trying to even expand further in Egypt and beyond. And hopefully, inshallah, turn successfully. Yeah.
Perfect. So I unfortunately did receive more than a time check. I received a marching order to get off the stage. So thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having us. And thank you so much, guys. You've been incredible. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.